Hey everybody, welcome to Ask the Anabolic Doc, starring Dr. Thomas O'Connor and brought to you by his website, metabolicdoc.com and anabolicdoc.com, both of which you can pick up your copy of America on Steroids, A Time to Heal, also available on amazon.com. Doctor, how are you, sir?
Excellent, Ron. Thank you so much. Excellent. How you doing?
I'm doing great. We have a great topic today that you came up with. I wish I could take credit for all these cool things, but you came up with this based on some recent patient visits and so forth. So the topic today, or the question is, are prep coaches killing their clients? And this was something that came up in the last couple interviews we've done, and the interview I did with Dr. T. I said, are these prep coaches, how knowledgeable are they? I mean, would you trust them to dispense what's basically medical advice, even though they're not medically trained, using vast amounts of performance-enhancing drugs and crazy combinations that no legitimate doctor would ever give his blessing to? And so recently this has come to a head in your practice with some patients. What's going on?
So I got to address this, so we've seen this for years and years, and now because of social media, these guys, and there's no names mentioned, but these guys are really pushing hard, and it's a huge business. They're just making so much money, and there's so much. So I have multiple patients all over the world. So this is never focused on one particular patient, and it's not even one particular guru, if you will, a prep coach. Yeah. But I got to say this, I got to give an example. So I got a guy who comes in and he's like in his 40s and he's in my practice and he's been using steroids for 10 years. And he's done some competing, but he's not a pro. He's just a regular guy, but he's been on steroids for 10 years. And he, in the beginning, started doing them himself. And then the last 5 years, he's gone to one of these prep coaches from anything from $1,200, $1,500 up to like $3,000 a month.
Yeah, I've heard of more. Some guys charge more than that. Yeah,
so that's that, and he's had different prep coaches, and so he ends up not feeling good. He goes to the ER once actually, and doesn't feel well. And there's always a wife or a mother or someone in there like going, what's going on, buddy? And again, these are not pros. Right. The pros, I don't know what they do. So my guess is it's something more along the line of the same thing. But this guy ends up getting his own blood work done from his primary care doctor. And okay, red blood cells are way, way out of whack. He's hypertensive. He's pissing protein. It's all the same stuff that I say. Pissing protein, liver enzymes are elevated. His cholesterol is the panel looks horrible. His HDL is in single digits, where it should be way over 40. Yeah. His LDL is up near 200.
Which should
be. Oh, that should be less than 100 for anyone now.
Okay.
So, and again, he's 40 something, and so I saw him about a month ago, and today I get back the echocardiogram and I get back the calcium score. Yeah. And we talk, because I saw him about a month ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. So, and then when he came in, he's hypertensive. He has all these, I just basically start rolling my sleeves up and start fixing the problems, and I basically use the labs to go off of, not to mention hypertension, and he has massive headaches. This guy's hematocrit was almost 60%. Now that's watch my video on polycythemia, and erythrocytosis and red blood cells as it's going on, this prep coach is texting him, don't go over to the doctor. He's telling the guy, he said to the guy, I'm your doctor.
Wow. 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 I didn't think anybody would be that.
There's going to be some freaking fucking lawsuits, man. I mean, look, wow. I carry guns, folks, so you can do whatever you want with me. I'm here to do what I do, okay? And you see who I'm working for. I don't give a shit about this. This is insane now, Ron. This is completely insane. So the guy's got plaque in his artery. He's got fortunately not too much. It's variable. It's all over the board, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to deal with that. He's cut his doses down, but the guy is still hammering. It's like the anti-aging places that just call you like telemarketers, Ron, to ask you like how much test that got. That's it. There's nothing more to say. Let's talk about it, Ron. What's going on?
So let me get this straight. This guy was upset that his client, who he was coaching for bodybuilding purposes, went to see an actual doctor and had all his tests and blood work and echo and calcium score done. Is that what had happened?
And I'm an idiot.
And you're an idiot.
And I'm a douchebag, and I'm just out for money.
Oh wait, now I think I know who this guy is. But
okay,
it's only one guy that I can recall ever speaking that disparagingly.
I mean, who the fuck thinks I'm an idiot, man? Let's go, buddy. Let's go.
So let me get this straight. Did the guy not want his client to have his health monitored in any way?
No idea.
Huh.
But what's happening? But this is just a fictitious. This is just like an example-ish, right?
Okay.
I have now, in the last 6 months, this is the regular. So maybe because of my media, because of you, and obviously I'm on the front cover of Muscle and Fitness with an article that I'm interviewed with an article with someone else.
Right. And
maybe because of the media and my attention and all this kind of stuff and being out there for so long now, that guys are coming in. And who's coming in? These are guys that are just like average bears. They're on steroids and they're getting it. Like you remember we talked about in the old day, we just do it yourself.
Yeah.
Now everyone has to have a prep coach, and it's a lot of money. And the guy told me today, he goes, Doc, you're killing their business, buddy.
The guy said you're killing their business?
Yeah.
So, I mean, have any of your clients ever come back to you and say, I can't work with you because my prep coach he's very upset that, you're telling me not to do this and not to do that. And these are things I need to do to reach my bodybuilding goals. So I just need to avoid all medical attention that might discourage me.
I mean, Ron, you're the most reasonable guy. You're obviously use steroids and you're very open. Yeah. I mean, you also are going to see physicians now and you're protected. So who the hell is going to go against this? I don't understand. What's going on? We got to get this out. We got to blast.
You call yourself the career wrecker, correct? Because you've dealt with a lot of guys who are using steroids as part of their career, some sort of professional sport or endeavor, and you convinced them based on what was going on with their bodies that they were causing incredible damage and probably shortening their lifespan dramatically if they continued on the path they were on. And you've talked, how many guys do you think you've been able to talk out of, abusing steroids?
Hundreds, thousands, I don't know, 1,000, 3,000. And this guy, among other guy, it's all the same stuff. His kidneys are damaged, getting damaged. Yeah. When you have 3+ protein in your urine, there's no doctor that's going to say, oh, that's not, that's just like some kind of a red herring. And you have plaque in the artery, which that's something that all men have. Yeah. But is it being accelerated by anabolic steroid use? That's my expertise. Yeah. And then every man you have to evaluate, look at yourself. I mean, but the ethical issue now is these are these prep coaches out there that are, my God, there's thousands, hundreds. Oh, yeah. And they're all over. And there's the top guys, then then the top guys blast. Don't go to a guy and again, Ron, I'm in here for the guys. I mean, like, yeah, do I charge money? I charge a reasonable annual retainer, I think, and that's what it is, guys.
So, what are these coaches, these prep coaches, gurus, whatever you want to call them, what are they doing that's, what about their advice would you say is either careless disregard for their client's health? I mean, what are they doing wrong that appalls you now that you've seen?
Okay, so it's interesting. So, and before that, like, can they get sued? And I've talked to us with guys. I go, the guys I'm talking to are pretty well-to-do, successful men. They have companies and jobs, and maybe some of them are just professionals. Yeah. But these are not like. These are decent people, and they're average or great social economic guys. Yeah. So we just kind of look, wondering about where the lawsuits are going to come from, and it's just interesting. They say it to me. I don't. They're not. But if I did this to you, I'd be sued, blued, and tattooed. Right. So it's interesting. Maybe this is for Collins. What's his name?
Rick Collins. Yeah, Rick Collins.
Rick Collins. Rick, hey man. So at what point, obviously they're not going to get sued because they're not. So if you ever end up in court for some kind of, the other attorney is going to say, this guy's just recommending, you're crazy to take the advice. So, there's going to be emails, there's going to be evidence though now, so it's going to, now again, and I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a magistrate, but what point does it cross the line? I guess it's kind of like, bullying. If you tell a kid to kill himself online and he kills himself, are you not responsible? If you tell someone to do, so those are children, obviously, but there's the question. So let me ask you a question.
Sure.
That's a thought. I just had that thought. These are guys that are telling these other people to take steroids. Now, some of them, take a little test, take a little Anadrol, take a little small amount of Anavar. You and I both know. First of all, if they say take one steroid pill or injection, is there one? I always argue that. I'm not Dr. T's out there. I can't give I clean up the mess, and I give men that require TRT because they've shut their brain off, and I clean up from the chin down with the heart and the blood. I'm an internist, and business is obviously phenomenal, and it's going to continue to be that way, I assume.
Yeah.
So, which is like, I guess it's unfortunate. What am I going to say? I love working with these kind of people because it's incredible, and I love doing it. It's exciting, and I'm able to heal people. The guy today, we're derailing a massive train.
So is he this person that you saw today? Is he going to cease working with that coach?
Absolutely.
He's going to cease. Tell me,
dusted.
What kind of doses was this guy on of different things?
And he's been with different gurus, various gurus, where that they recommend stuff that's like, a gram, 2 grams of test, up to tren, a gram, 300, 600, big doses, man. And then clenbuterol and diuretics and thyroid preparations. And so what are they doing, Ron? What are they doing? These guys are absolute buffoons. They don't know. I don't want to hear about the bro science. And even Dave Palumbo, be careful, Dave. You're not a doctor. I'm an asshole. Yes, I'm a doctor asshole. Let's get my name straight.
Yeah.
So you know what, pal? This is just pathetic. Am I pissed off? You guys love when I get angry because it's true. This is unbelievable. Your doctor is a decent doctor. He knows what he understands the pathophysiologic models on how hearts become destroyed in kidney. This is just being accelerated. How about I talked this morning to a man who has massive depression, and he's coming off steroids. And you know what? I'm working with a psychiatrist with this man. Let me tell you, my days, I talked to 10 men today before getting ready for today, starting at around 8 o'clock in the morning. I blew through lunch with about a 10-minute lunch. I talked to about 10 guys. Let me tell you something, man. All over the world. And from depression to heart disease to sexual dysfunction, acne, hair loss, the usual gynecomastia, stuff that's nuisance and quality of life issues with the hair loss and the gynecomastia to death stuff. And this one man has such bad depression he's had since 20, and now he's 50, and he's just coming off steroids with some other ass gurus and anti-aging places, and now he's with me, and I'm trying to get the doses right, Ron, and his wife is on the phone with him. Half the time I'm dealing with these guys, the wife is either on the speakerphone or, because someone loves these people,
right?
And these gurus are destroying lives. And legally, can they do it? I'm sure they can do whatever they want. They're just right, but they're doing it, and they don't know any, and they start being like doctors, acting like doctors. Ron, game on, man.
Well, I'm going to play devil's advocate because otherwise, we're listening to you. Rightfully so, but you're just going on about how terrible these guys are, and I agree that it's incredibly irresponsible what they're doing, and they're not qualified to dispense what is technically medical advice or pharmaceutical advice. But I guess you could argue this here's one way you could argue it. If these people who are hiring the gurus, they have certain goals of what they want to achieve with their physique, or they want to get to a certain level in competition. These gurus, while they are not medically trained, they do know what drugs and in what amounts are required to achieve a certain look. And although that will vary, I'm sure, from person to person, some people respond better or worse. Some people will need greater or lesser amounts of drugs. if you're someone who wants to be their best, be the best bodybuilder they can be, and say it's me. I don't know a lot about. I don't know as much about drugs as I really should. People kind of assume I know more than I do. If I was going to compete for my pro card, if I was going to go for my pro card, I would need to hire one of these guys because I don't know the best. I mean, I could do my own research online,
Yeah.
but it would be easier for me to put it all in the hands of someone who works with a lot of other people at that level, at the top national, at the pro level. They do this every day. Like you do what you do every day. Every day they're talking to guys about their diet and their drugs. That's all they do over and over again with dozens and hundreds and over the years, thousands of clients.
Yeah.
So they would help guide me and say, you need to get these drugs. This is how much you're going to take weeks 1 through 4. This is when you're going to take them. Inject this one before a meal, this one after a workout, this one right when you wake up, and then don't eat for 30 minutes. It's unfortunate, but to achieve the look that is required to succeed in bodybuilding today, you do have to take certain substantial risks with your health and use, super physiological. I just added I added a supra. You need to use a lot of drugs in high quantities. The only people that don't are probably a very rare genetic elite that need just a little dab will do you, like Brill cream, for who remembers that. they can get away with using smaller, moderate amounts, but for the genetically average, which comprise the majority of people who compete in bodybuilding, unfortunately, to get the level of size and the condition, you need a wide array of different drugs to build the muscle, burn the fat, and do all these wonderful things to give that insane, crazy muscular look of skinless beef on stage. So, if these guys aren't doing it, we're left to our own devices.
So here's the thing. So, okay, first of all, as a physician, I have to say I just disagree with all that, but that's what it is. But I disagree with the philosophy of it. It's unfortunate, but I 100% agree with your assessment that that's what it is and that's what it has to be. So here's the thing. And as you're talking, I'm thinking, well, what can we do about it? Well, imagine we had all these men, not to mention women, being monitored and getting a history and physical and being, again, I'm not saying this is what I would do or we should, open we should go down to Congress. And so if they did have, if the goal is to preserve life, not to mention everyone knows that these guys are going to have shorter lives. I mean, come on, let's not get crazy here. Yeah. These guys' hearts are not good. There's not one of them that after 20 years of steroid use is going to have a normal left ventricle. Not one. Right. I want to show anyone wants to compete with me and show me someone wants to get an echocardiogram. I'll order the echocardiogram. Calcium score, renal function. You want to see it? 20 years of steroids, even 10 years. Yeah. I'll do an evaluation for you. I offer that up to anyone who wants to come in and give that to me. Let's see it. We'll do it openly. Sign releases, disclaimers, disclaim everything. I've already offered this before. No one's ever come forth. Yeah. Not some kid who's been on steroids for a couple of years, and even those kids can get hurt. So if you go back and you say, so everyone wants to do it as safely as I did my research, I did it, and I'm not busting people's stones and ridiculing people. I did my research. I'm doing it safe. You did your research. It means you've been studying this stuff really on the internet for years and years, and it means you if we gave a test on broology, you do really well, right?
Yeah, I did 98.
Yeah, I give different degrees of broology. I give high school graduates, dropouts, PhDs, double, triple PhDs, because these guys know. Sure, you know more than you could. You could bitch slap a doctor, they say, with knowing this stuff. Okay, you can. But at the end of the day, what do you really know about the pathophysiologic mechanisms of renal function and cardiovascular function? You know nothing, sir. You know nothing.
Well, let me interrupt you. If they knew what they should know is in terms of being able to protect their client's health.
That's right. So imagine we go forward to 100 years from now, and the reality is, well, the drugs will be more focused, probably with real SARMs back at that point. So today, you're using crude drugs that are systemic and toxic. You can't get away from the affecting the target organs that will be affected. It's always the heart and the kidney, prostate. Who cares about hair? Bitch tits. Go to a guy, have them removed. And if you have horrible acne, you're just out of the game anyway, right? It's kind of a natural selection, right?
Yeah, it looks pretty bad.
anyone who's living on Accutane with steroids, not to mention oral steroids, is just dusted. You know, Accutane is going to be liver toxic, and if you're going to do Anadrol and Accutane, I've already seen what that's caused. So anyway, but beyond that, if you're going to do it, so everyone should have a history. Watch my damn video series, and I'm not doing this to sell my video series. Yeah. You can go fuck off, pal. So the truth
you're okay
is,
without your video series.
You can go fuck off. Listen, I'm so powerful now, guys. This is what I'm doing. The truth is, so get a history and physical. If you got some bad genetics for hereditary hemochromatosis, your crit's going to go up to the sky. You're going to be in trouble. Forget headaches. You're going to have a clot. You're going to have a stroke. You're going to destroy your left ventricle super early. I've already seen it. If you have bad genetics for heart disease, playing with fire, bro. Yeah. So the reality is, if you can do these steroids and have monitoring, yeah, sure. But here's what's going to happen. The levels that they're using that I see for over 10 years now, when some guys have balls to come. Guys who come to me want to get off the train. They want to get off the train. They want to come to me. They want help, and they're ready to surrender. Someone loves them. They've probably been hurt already with some medical issue, or they're concerned because they're coming close. And they're not spring chickens. You know, these are mid-30s, 40s, 10 years of steroid use. That's the average bear that comes. Yeah. And they're ready. So I have to physiologically correct them, and with TRT and fertility and all these protocols. In the end, if you say, let's look at guys on steroids right when they're in the middle of the cycle on like all these drugs, the labs are going to be nothing short of atrocious.
Appalling.
But the amazing piece is the body bounces back, you know, rubber band stuff. So it's like then after the cycle, if they ever come off, they come off. So it's never going to be one of the. My head has gotten around it at this point, where it's like when you come, if you're doing those levels, like you said, the average bear needs those levels to respond. Yeah. I don't even know who the top level guys are. I think the top level guys have everything. They have the best genetics. They're the best responders. They're willing to go the mile. They're willing to take the risks. They're willing to train, like Livorne sleeping on the floor. Remember the stories of Kevin sleeping on the floor? With guns. I mean, this is the best stuff in the world. So, again, I take care of these men. Yeah. These are great guys. Not Kevin. I'm not naming. I take care of this type of man. These guys are incredible. You can't be on that level unless you have every single thing lined up and you're a monster. And the discipline, that's what you love, and that's what we love about the bodybuilding lifestyle. But when you look at these labs and the damage, so the truth is, you're never going to do it. You're never going to be able to, because you're going to be like, oh my God, you're going on stage next week, stop everything. Yeah. It's just not, or let me give protective medicines, which I do give protective medicines, and I'm not going to let them out right now what they are. Right. I know how to give protective medicines for men that are basically trying to recover, and powerlifters are kind of better because you can control blood pressure with different medicines and watch the heart, and they can be on and off steroids. I don't give them the steroids. I never have to. But they want me to protect them so they feel better and they don't drop from a heart attack or stroke or have another heart attack. And they still want to lift weights and be in the gym. This is the average bear. But in the end, you're never going to have that simultaneously. A doctor, and I don't know who this clown is. That's like the IFBB doc. I could have a good time right now, can't I, Ron? Sure, go ahead. This fucking clown. That's he's the doctor. That's like you're the atomic czar to like to I'm the atomic czar for Trump for the atomic bombs to make sure that they're okay. I mean, sorry for saying that. Sorry for Trump. So it's like it's just like. It's a misnomer. It's a joke. So you're going to do it. Then you go into warriors. You're going to be a warrior because you're going to cut your life short because you're doing this for what you do. There you go. Nothing to say. Okay. Well, I'm still going to keep asking questions. So, with the title of this, are the prep coaches killing the clients? Couldn't you say that these clients are going to do it anyway? They're going to kill themselves. I mean, they're just someone's just holding the gun for them, basically. This is what a debate, what a discussion. And if you're bringing in like law enforcement, which that's not what I do,
Right.
you're breaking laws. He's telling you to take a drug that's illegal and it's on. I mean, so can you do it without them? They're going to be less focused. Are the prep coaches focusing you so you're actually going to do better because you're just going to take too much Anadrol?
I mean, on that note, there's one coach that I heard from several people would have clients taking 4 to 6 Anadrol 50s a day. So that's
how much?
4 to 6. So those are 50 milligrams each. So 200 to 300 milligrams.
Come on.
No, this is true. This is true. To keep their fullness, their muscle fullness, in the last few weeks of prep, as well as in the off season. But I mean, your liver would have to be just beaten to a pulp after a few weeks of that, I would imagine.
Wow, and that much Anadrol. I can imagine it's amazing that liver with young men will bounce back, though.
Yeah, it's a very regenerative organ, right?
100%. That's the most regenerative organ you got.
So, if these guys were being more responsible and ethical, these coaches, what would you have them do differently?
Wow, that's a good question. Have them really get expert care first, and then monitor as they're doing it, okay. and be honest about that. Here's a good answer. Be honest. If this is a real expert, he can assess like who's going to be pro, who's not, based on genetics, right, Ron? Right?
Yeah, but a coach.
So don't blow smoke up someone's ass.
A client is not going to. I don't know if they blow smoke. Maybe I'm sure a lot of them really do. Absolutely, they do.
They definitely do.
You're the next Mr. Olympia,
It's all
bro.
about the money. It's all about the money, baby.
Cha-ching. But I mean, some of these guys, I know many guys, especially at the master's level, they know in their heart of hearts they're nothing special. They're never going to be, if they get their pro card, which they all want their pro card, they know they're going to be horrible pros. They're never going to get a call out. They'll be last place. They'll look like they don't even belong up there with those other guys because they don't have the genetics, but they still want the pro card. And some of these guys are willing to take, you tell them, I want you on 2 grams of test a week, gram of tren, gram of equipoise, 15 units of growth a day, 20 units of insulin before you work out, 20 units of insulin after you work out. They'll tell them to do all this. They'll be like, okay.
Oh my.
And, they'll show up at a master show ripped at like 240, 250 pounds, shitty structure, shitty shape, but a lot of muscle in really gnarly, crazy condition. Because with enough drugs and with enough hard work, you can get a lot of guys can get pretty big and pretty ripped, even though the overall aesthetics of it is, they look like
wow.
But they
God.
do it. And the gurus, a lot of these guys, they're older, so they can afford. If they're a guru, they contact a guy and says, my rate is $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 per prep. These guys don't blink. They're like, all right, what do I need to do?
Are you kidding?
No. Where do I send the money? PayPal? Is PayPal good?
Ron, see, I just think we need to openly discuss it like this. And again, I'm a physician, and I'm seeing the bodies coming in. Where are the bodies? They're in my office, everyone. That's a guaranteed for sure.
So let me ask you this, doctor. Say me, I like to use myself as an example. Say I hire Guru X. He's one of the top gurus in the world. He has guys at the Mr. Olympia, the Arnold class. He's got an awesome reputation. People love this guy because he works with some of the best athletes around. And this guy tells me what to take for my show, and I get a hold of the drugs, and I'm taking them. And I come to you in the middle of a heavy, heavy cycle, and my labs are all fucked up the way you described earlier.
Yeah.
Would you as a doctor, and as my doctor, would you try to manage that in any way, or would you?
Ron, no. So I've been doing this for 10 years. I do much less of this now. In the beginning, back when I was writing for you guys, they all came in because they thought there was I had some magic potion.
Yeah, make me healthy.
So that's when I became the career wrecker. So now they just know not to. I have a bad reputation out there among those guys. You hear it. You hear that I'm a douchebag and an ass.
They don't like you.
I'm not liked. That's okay. The big guys don't like me, which is I expect they don't like me. They don't want to hear the truth.
So I'm putting you on the spot here, but would you work with someone who came in and said, I want to manage, I'm going to use all these drugs no matter what you say.
Yeah.
Can you be my doctor and get me on this med, that med to try to minimize the damage I'm doing.
So here's what I do. No, I don't. No,
Okay.
no. I show them the labs.
Yeah.
See, but they don't come in, Ron. They don't. It's actually never even happened. 10 years ago, it did.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen anymore. They don't come to me. Don't come. You know, when I go to the Olympia, and I go to these things, which I didn't this year, I'm just too busy.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird to go because I'm like it's like no one, only the local guys and the doc, what's up? You know, my fans, my guys, which God, I freaking love you guys, man.
Yeah.
And that's growing, boy. That's growing big. You guys are doing great. But the big guys, and I won't say names, when I used to have booths, 2009, 2010, 11, we had booths at the Arnold. A couple of the guys came by, you know, in between the competitions, you know, all dark and all the top pros, and they looked over at me and just shook their head like, you freaking asshole. And you know what?
Yeah.
I was just like not ready for that, but I was just like, so I write in the magazines,
Yeah.
It looks like I take care of all those guys, but I don't.
But
I take care of regular guys.
To be clear, it's not a moral. You have no moral problem with people using steroids, and you know these are adults. If they want to do 5 grams of steroids a week, knock yourself out. But you know you're not anti-steroid. You're pro-health.
That's it.
Would that be the best way to put it?
And I understand the culture and the brotherhood with everything about it, but taking that amount of drugs and destroying your life, what I see, I just can't get my head around that, Ron.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, am I crazy? Am I a douchebag for that?
Well, we're all douchebags in our own way, but I think what these guys would like to see, and they're never going to see it, is a medical doctor who would give his blessing.
Yeah.
Go forth in peace and juice your skull.
Here's a miracle pill.
Yeah, and just take one of these a day, and everything's going to be cool. Your heart, your liver, kidneys, it's all going to be just fine. You know, and that's what they would love to see, and it's a fantasy. Honestly.
What a great talk this is, because, and you know, when I say the powerlifting guys, because let's just talk about something here, because we're so deep in the underground here. Yeah. The bodybuilders are using what you just said. I mean, more or less. Yeah. But powerlifters, they have to have good genetics. Because I don't care what you're giving any guy for steroids. You don't get that strong. Yeah. These 1,000-pound benching guys, these are guys that are freakish, with or without the shirt on, and you could take that to the bank.
So they weren't benching 135 max before steroids.
Right? No, these guys are all gifted, top gifted, just like the pro guys. Yeah. But here's the difference. Give me a power lifter who's just like downstairs in the basement with private lifting clubs, likes to just lift something up and put it down. Give me some guy who's just sitting there and just wants to go into the gym and train with the boys and lift bigger and badder, bench, squat, deadlift, old school guys, and not even CrossFit, just kind of too much, and I just can't get my head around that. Old school powerlifting. And you know what they do? They do test and D-ball, bro. Yeah. And I can get my head around that. I don't give it a blessing. I ain't going to give it to you, but I can get my head around it, and they don't use that much. Right. Because they're these guys I'm telling you the truth. That's true. No names mentioned. So, and that's why, because they're always consistent, and they don't use insulin. I learned they don't use, we don't use insulin, doc, because you can't hold on to the bar. Yeah. Wow. So, and a strong man go for this too. I'm not saying some guys don't in the off season or whatever the hell they do, bulking, but they don't. And the young guys, God knows, using everything now. Yeah. But and you're young, you're a freight train. You can take anything and still grow. And if you have good genetics and you're this healthy young man, right. I guess when it comes to those strong guys, I understand, because I'm a power lifter, and I love it. It's just an amazing thing to be powerful and strong. And it's not, and again, please forgive me, it's not really narcissistic drive, but I understand bodybuilding is different. And I guess maybe I try to be a bodybuilder. I'm a pussy. I guess I can't be. So I guess I have little calves and I just don't have what it takes. So I became a power lifter, and I did bench world 500 with a shirt on at 198 when I was 47. And I obviously probably won't make a comeback because I'm too old now and I just tore my pec. Right. So, and that's okay. I got to live with that. So I'm a mountain biker, and it's not easy to give up, guys. It's not easy to I get it. That's why I love taking care of guys. And all day long, I'm talking to these guys. Remember, it's a brotherhood. So the powerlifter and the lighter end guys that are just using steroids, more like you, Ron, you don't do much. No. Sorry.
No, I mean,
You're not going to die, God forbid, and you've assessed your heart, and your heart's stable, and God forbid, you're doing great. You're going to live. Who the fuck wants to die though? And why these big guys? The warrior mentality, and I love all the stuff they write. And again, I mean, look, we love bread and circus. We love it in this world. We've always loved it. We love the freaks and the goons, and we love the brah. But you know, I'm trying. I mean, the powerlifting guys, a little test and D-ball, his balls are shut off. Let's see if we can straighten you up on some tea. Let's watch your heart. And then, Doc, man, I'm still strong. I feel great. My sex is great. My wife thanks you. And you know what? My kids. That's what I do. That's what I do, guys.
Yeah. I mean, just the final word I want to say is, unfortunately, bodybuilding, it's evolved to the point where the amount of muscle mass and the conditioning, the low body fat levels, they're so far beyond what the human body is normally capable of without chemical enhancement. And it's gotten to the point where they figured out certain chemicals in certain high amounts produce a certain desirable result to achieve this comic book exaggerated caricature look that we have now. And you know, there's no closing Pandora's box. It's open. This is the way. We're not going to suddenly go for smaller look. You know, they say Sean Roden's a return to smaller body. He's 251 pounds, ripped to bone with no water in his body. That's still a giant muscular human being, folks. He's only like 5'9" or 5'10", maybe 5'10". So yeah, it's sorry to say. I mean, I kind of wish it was more like powerlifting or like bodybuilding used to be back in the old days, where, you know, Arnold and those guys, 2-3 different types of steroids, maybe in doses that, you know, figure girls now are using for.
I can't believe it's true though.
No, I do believe it.
But so that's, and Ron, we're going to keep doing this. We're going to put it behind us. This show is going to go behind us, and guys will move forward. And if I could help some guys, like, not do something that they really don't want to do and end up even just shutting off their own testosterone production, you know, that's the most common thing I see, that guys come in early. They go, Doc, I did my PCT. I did some gear, a couple years on and off. Doc, I can't stay off. My T won't come back.
That's right.
And that's really, really interesting to general doctors who don't know it, but now they do. Yeah. You anabolic steroid-induced hypogonadism, chapter 13 in my book, where men can't get off testosterone. And I did all the literature review. It's got pages and pages of references. And so that's like, Doc, I need to live on test. I'm 35, and I'm going to be on test forever. Yeah. Now, to you, Ron, and to the pro guys, that's like no shit, kid.
Yeah, big deal. Yeah, duh.
But so I can get my head around that, and then I just try to minimize the heart. You know, I then try to make it so when you're in your 50s, I guess, or older, or 40s, 50s, 70s, that you don't feel like dog meat.
Right. Well, Doc, we could talk about this one all day, and I'm sure
Ron.
We'll revisit this topic again, because it's always going to be relevant. It's always going to keep popping up like a whack-a-mole.
So guys, check out the website. Please do a consultation. I'm in here in Connecticut right now. We're going down to Florida. God, it's 18th and 19th October, the third week in October, the Thursday and Friday. Got a few consults filling up. We have some space open still. And that's what I do. Every month I'll go to Florida for 2 or 3 days, filling it up. Up here in Connecticut, things are wide open. On the front cover of Muscle and Fitness with the steroid article with me and someone else. Yeah. And we're just always an MD. The article on MD came out. That looks awesome. It's fun.
And the contact info for you people who don't know about Google, it's metabolicdoc.com. Metabolicdoc.com. You can reach Dr. O'Connor. You could actually meet the man. You could schedule him. He could evaluate you and help you out. So,
what I'm doing, guys.
All right, Doctor, thank you so much for this. We will talk again next week. And that's it for Ask the Anabolic Doc. This has been Ron Harris with the doctor himself, Thomas O'Connor. Thanks for watching.